So tell me, what is this competition all about?
Well, it's about involving the youth and students in important national discussions, economic and political discussions, getting us involved, hearing our opinions, and encouraging us to take part, and especially as young, inspiring economists, formulating non-theoretical, more practical, real-world solutions for real-world problems, and getting us involved into the daily discussions that affect our lives at a macro level, and me personally as well at the moment.
So you're taking the theory of economics and applying it to a proposed solution for a problem.
Yes, but also looking at where does the theory hold water and where doesn't it hold water? Where is the real world divergent from what we've been learning in textbooks as well?
And I understand that the theme for this year was minimum wage, a proposal around implementing a minimum wage across different industries in South Africa.
Yes. Yeah, the question was, do we need a national, because we've already got sectoral minima through bargaining councils and sectoral determinations by the government. But do we need a national minimum wage, a floor under which no worker can be paid in this country? Was the question we had.
And what was your answer?
A very qualified yes.
Okay. So what are those qualifications?
Let's look at it. Internationally, if we look empirically, in the developing world and as well as the developed world, we don't have evidence of, as you'll see in your general economic textbook, you raise the wage level to artificially high levels, and there's an oversupply of workers, and unemployment rises. That's what you learn in theory. But empirically, we've seen that that's not the case. Unemployment hasn't risen. In some cases it has, and in some cases employment has actually increased when minimum wages have been introduced. So obviously that competitive price mechanism isn't the explanation for it. We need to look at the other channels of adjustment that businesses have. And if unemployment would not be, and this is with a moderate increase, we just need to qualify that, with a moderate increase in national minimum wages. If that is the case, and we don't see a massive rise in unemployment, what do we see in terms of decreasing working poverty and inequality? If that does decrease, we do decrease poverty and inequality, then it is a very effective redistribution tool. It's not a save-all for inequality and poverty in this country, but it is a useful tool in a broader range of tools we can have to address working poverty. It has unfortunately no effect for the unemployed, but wage inequality is the biggest contributor to inequality in this country at the moment.
So the proposal you made would affect people who already have jobs, but maybe need a job with a better minimum wage or a better entry-level wage. So the proposal is that for those people who do have jobs, we give them a better salary, a better input, and that increases their wealth in a way, or their standard of living.
It's a move towards providing a basic standard of living. If our median wage, Arden Finn at UCT did a paper last year, our median wage for employees in this country is 3,600 Rand. In other words, 50% of employees in this country earn 3,600 Rand or less. Normally you have a dependency ratio in families of 3 to 4. So if I had a wage of 3,600 Rand and I had a wife and 2 kids to look after, you can't expect to progress as an economy if we can't send our kids to school, if we can't afford basic healthcare, and if more than half of the population lives in those circumstances. So that's kind of the key question, or at least of the working.
That
and
is
that's
the issue.
And then you still think we have a 25% unemployment rate. If you take the broader rate, it's even higher of those already discouraged. So it's about, it's not about only redistributing, but also within a broader framework, how can we encourage people to take part in the economy and also be able to spend their money. The poor tend to spend their money on food, education, basics, foods, things that we take for everyday luxury. Like we see it as luxuries. These are necessities that most people in our country can't even afford.
So are you saying that if we increase the minimum wage, people who are the working poor, as you call them, would have more disposable income beyond their basic necessities, transport, accommodation, and food, and that would have some effect on the economy?
They would be able to afford their basic necessities like transport, food, education, and that's vital to any economy growing. Because we also it needs to be accompanied by upgrading the skill levels, of course. But how can you expect someone to upgrade their skill levels if they're struggling to make ends meet in terms of food and transportation? And that's kind of the crux of the matter.